Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be previewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 8 matchup versus the Atlanta Falcons. This is a big game. Both teams come into this matchup with a 4-3 record. If the Buccaneers win this game, they officially split with the Atlanta Falcons and move to 2-1 in conference play. If the Atlanta Falcons win this football game, they will move on to 4-0 in divisional play, and in my opinion, that all but seals the division to be won by the Atlanta Falcons. That will have meant that the Falcons have swept the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they wouldn't have any tiebreakers, the Bucs that is, over the Falcons at that point in terms of pure divisional play. So this is a very big must-win game. It is also Creamsicle Week, by the way. The Creamsicle uniforms are returning, so it is exciting times for that as well. And I want to start this conversation by talking about the Buccaneers defense versus the Falcons offense, because these two teams played just a couple of weeks ago, and in that game, it went to overtime. The Falcons did win 36-30, but the biggest story was that Kirk Cousins passed for 509 yards in that game, broke a Falcons franchise record for most passing yards in a game. He also had 4 touchdowns as well. The Buccaneers had absolutely no answer for the passing attack of the Atlanta Falcons, and quite frankly, that has got to change going forward into this matchup. And the secondary is going to look a lot different. Zon McCollum is still there. He's your cornerback 1 now, but 2 starters from that game are going to be out in Jamel Dean and likely Tyke Smith as of the recording of this video. You are going to get Tyreek Funderburk and Christian Izien, and whenever you look at the advanced stats, Christian Izien is allowing a 68.5 passer rating when targeted so far this year. He has had to play both nickel cornerback and safety. Tyreek Funderburk has allowed a 135.0 rating when targeted. He has actually allowed a 100% completion percentage, targeted 10 times, 10 passes completed when targeted on Tyreek Funderburk. So this is going to be a big matchup. Are they going to attack Tyreek Funderburk in this game? We will have to wait and see. Funderburk has only started 1 game this year. He did come in relief of Jamel Dean, I believe, when he had been suffering from the injury in the New Orleans Saints game. So we will see how the Buccaneers secondary can adjust. You will still have Antoine Winfield Jr. out there, which I don't believe Antoine Winfield Jr. was present in that previous game. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say that he wasn't. Let me go ahead and check on that real quick. He was not, but Jordan Whitehead was there. So the Bucs will be getting reinforcements in Antoine Winfield Jr. I think that is going to help tremendously, especially covering the middle of the field. But you have lost Jamel Dean, you have lost Tyke Smith, so we'll see how the secondary will be able to adapt. Also, that was Logan Hall's best game of his career. He had 5 quarterback hits in that game, 2 total sacks in that game as well. Vita Vea had a sack in there, as did Anthony Nelson. They are going to need to get after Kirk Cousins in this game, make him uncomfortable. If this is the Falcons' game plan to continue just passing the ball like nobody's business, then you're going to have to bring them down and make them change up their game plan. Folks, real quick, I do want to say thank you to the sponsor of this video, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. If you do use the promo code YouTube150 whenever you do sign up, you will get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. That is all up to $2,000, guys. Again, when you use the promo code YouTube150 at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, the proud sponsor of this channel this season. And I want to talk about the Buccaneers offense versus the Falcons defense, because in that game, Baker Mayfield actually had a pretty good game. He had 180 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had 42 rushing yards, but the Bucs in the second half of that game were very flat in terms of their overall scoring. They only scored 6 points in the second half of that matchup after scoring 24 in the first half. So the Bucs have to play a more complete game in this matchup, and one of the guys who caught 2 out of those 3 touchdowns from Baker Mayfield is not going to be in this game. That's Mike Evans. And also Chris Godwin is on the injured reserve now. And Chris Godwin had a pretty decent game during that matchup as well. I believe he had finished with 64 receiving yards. Mike Evans had 62 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns in that game. So who's going to step up? Well, Cade Otton is coming off of a 100-yard game last week against the Baltimore Ravens. He is going to have to step up. Jalen McMillan had 8 targets in last week's game against the Baltimore Ravens. He is presumably going to be your number 1 wide receiver in this game. Trey Palmer or Sterling Shepard, likely the number 2. I would say probably Sterling Shepard, with Trey Palmer being your number 3. But as I said in the injury report video, you're going to be seeing a lot of fluidity with this wide receiver room, I feel like. I think that you're going to be seeing Jalen McMillan a lot. I think that you're going to be seeing Sterling Shepard a lot, and probably a good bit of Trey Palmer. But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a bit of Raheem Jarrett, if we saw a bit of Ryan Miller in this game as well. It also wouldn't surprise me if we saw Liam Cohen get creative with the running backs. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. Rachaad White is a guy who just is coming off of a 100-yard scrimmage game and 2 receiving touchdowns in that matchup against the Ravens. I think that he can be a very capable receiving threat along with all of the guys that I mentioned. I think Sean Tucker is an interesting name to keep an eye on. He had over almost 200 scrimmage yards against the New Orleans Saints. He had, I believe, 40-plus receiving yards in that matchup as well. So those are 2 guys who can also benefit. Bucky Irving is dealing with an injury, and as of the recording of this video on October 25th, we do not know the status of Bucky Irving yet. If he is active, you can imagine he's going to be used as well. If he isn't, you're going to be getting a healthy dose of Rachaad White and of Sean Tucker, really trying to take control of the game. One benefit here is that Baker Mayfield is healthy. He still leads the league in passing touchdowns. The offensive line is healthy, and they've been playing very well this year also. And those 2 groups, right, Baker Mayfield and the offensive line, are going to have to carry this offense like they have not done, or like they haven't had to yet this season. That is to say, Baker Mayfield and the offensive line have been playing very good, but now they have to be even better because you don't have Mike Evans. You don't have Chris Godwin. You do have some receivers with some promise in McMillan, in Palmer, and in Sterling Shepard. You've got a great running back group in there as well, but you still got to block. You still got to make the right throws and hope that your receivers can catch the football. And Cade Otton, I think, can get some more looks in there as well. Heck, throw Devin Culp out there. In my opinion, I think that would be a good look. But we will see, folks. This is a very, very important matchup. Will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers prevail, or will the Falcons sweep them after some devastating injury news this past week? We'll see. But guys, thank you so much for watching this review again. Shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for being the proud sponsor of this channel. It is greatly appreciated. And as always, guys, we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.